All right, I'm here live with Beth Ward. For those of you for those of you who haven't seen her video in my group, she's very good at closing clients. She's very good at taking a lead and turning them into a booking. And she actually made a short video about that on my group. And so now I've got her on here live. Hi, Beth.
Hey, Jake. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Just wanted to, anytime I have any kind of successful client, I always try to extract their skills and tactics and skill sets so that I can share it with my other clients. So without wasting anybody's time, just I'll jump straight into it. So how long have you been doing ads with me? It's like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, I think it's about 2.5 weeks now.
Okay. I pulled up because I actually haven't talked to you in person since we started. I know we've been doing email back and forth. So I pulled up the data and it looks like you have about 65 new messages and then about 20 comments on the ad. And you said you've booked how many?
I've booked about 12 service appointments and about 10 of consultations, live consultations.
And you said you booked 12 what appointments?
Actual appointments.
Okay, wow.
Not like actually 8 are happening, 7 are happening this week, and 1 is happening next week.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And you said right now with the ad pricing, it's like what, $450 for microblading?
Correct. With my promotion going on right now, it's $450 and it includes the touch-up.
Okay, so a lot of people ask, like, how can I charge $497 for ads? Well, you've already made 10 times that much just from 2 weeks, right? So, yes. if you turn all those consultations, it'll be even double that. So, not here to toot my own horn, but I would like to hear. First question I always get from other clients, and you even had the same issue. When people message you, the first thing they want to know is how much.
A lot of times that is the first thing that they ask. The first thing they inquire is how much.
Right.
Like, people don't waste time. They just get right to the point. And I actually don't want to get to that point right away. I want to build a relationship and a rapport and then get to that point. So what I've been doing is I've actually been asking them a question. When they ask how much, I used to answer the question, but I don't do that anymore because I've learned from watching your videos and just, really looking at your Facebook page and everything that you're advising. It's really about building rapport. And I was in sales and I completely forgot about that. Yeah, it's about building rapport. So basically, I actually say I have 3 different techniques that I offer depending on your situation. Tell me a little bit more about your brows. That's my lead in.
So basically, you're answering a question with a question.
Correct. I'm answering a question with a question.
I know what people are thinking right now because I've had them say this objection to me. When you say that to someone, does it not piss them off that you are not answering the question directly?
No, because I think what's happening is they realize that the price may depend on what they need done. And that's what I'm inferring. And I want them to believe that. So I'm not getting them pissed off anymore. They used to get pissed off, but now they don't. So it builds the rapport. It's definitely working. They're sending pictures.
Yeah, I think that helps you also because instead of giving them a cookie cutter approach and making them just feel like another number, you're actually taking the time to learn a little bit about them so that you can give them the right service they need or the right variety of whatever you offer,
Yeah, I could customize my techniques and my artistry based on their needs. And that's the message I'm getting across to them. And I think that's why the conversation becomes warm.
Right. And I had a comment, and yeah, guys, as you're watching, feel free to comment for her or me and ask us any questions that you want to hear. But somebody asked, do you have a chat bot? And you don't, do you?
Not yet.
Yeah.
No.
So so we're talking about getting bookings without even having a chat bot. Now, Beth, I will show you some ways that we can easily do mass follow-ups and prompting, because once you get hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people in your inbox, it becomes a little tougher to do it individually. So we'll work on that in the future. But right now, I want to hear your sales tactics. So you said you were in sales before. What were you selling?
I actually sold Mary Kay for 18 years. I was the driver of 4 free cars with them and had 80 people
Nice.
on the team. Yeah, I did that whole thing for 18 years.
Nice. What other? So like, let's say you tell them that message that you were talking about first. You ask them the questions, and then what happens if they just ignore you and they don't respond?
Some people do, and so I'm almost getting the feeling that if I had just blurted out the price, they would have ignored me as well. So now I'm knowing it's not the price. It's just that they maybe hit the button by mistake, or they're just not interested, or their mind is somewhere else. But I used to think it was the price, because if they asked the price and I answered and I didn't hear from them, I thought, uh-oh, they don't like the price. Now,
Right.
if they inquire and I say, tell me a little bit more about yourself, your eyebrow situation, and they don't respond, then I think it's not what I've said. It's just that maybe they're just, I don't know. But I'm not blaming the price anymore.
Yeah, one of the top sales trainers in the world, Grant Cardone, I watch him, and he says it's almost never about the price. It's because most people haven't even made the decision that they want microblading yet. So like, too many artists I see jump straight to the price, and some people actually shoot themselves in the foot. Like I was looking at a client's messages the other day, and people would ask them about microblading, and they would jump straight to, hey, it's this much money, and here's my address, and that's all they were saying. And of course, they got no bookings from that.
Yeah, I could see how that would happen, and now it's a matter of, like, anybody who, I'm not getting a lot of objection about the price. I'm getting a lot of questions once that rapport starts to be built. But then when I finally get to the objection, because I can decipher that through a conversation, whether it's by phone or through text,
Right.
a lot of times the objection is something completely I would have never thought of, like pain. I had one person who really, she asked about the price. We never discussed it, but I answered a whole list of other objections and questions. And then when it got down to it, is it painful? That's all she wanted to know. How painful is it? On a scale of 1 to 10. So, I mean, I thought, wow, that's amazing. That's what's her objection. So anyway,
Yeah.
I was able to overcome that, and she booked the appointment right then and there. We've already held that appointment last week.
Wow. Yeah, I remember you telling me that story, and it was awesome because that's the same story you made the video about. And the crazy thing is, if you had just answered her question about price to begin with, she probably would have never booked with you, and she wouldn't have nice brows right now.
Right, right. She actually she wound up being a neighbor, and we're actually socializing now. So I mean, it's a great thing. It's really neat. She loves her brows. She's telling everyone about it.
What would you say your number one sales tactic or tip is for everybody watching right now that's having trouble responding to their leads or booking people?
I think the hardest thing, as people, we're great in front of people. We can talk with our eyes, we can talk with our gestures. I'm Italian, I use my hands. Um, but the hardest thing is to relay your personality from being live to the written word. Some things
Right.
get missed and getting lost. So if you could learn your language, if you could learn how to use the written word to portray your actual personality,
Yes.
maybe throwing an emoji, asking a
Hmm.
question, but not, you don't want to ask too many questions where you feel like you're giving them the third degree. You want
Yeah.
to, it has to be a back and forth. You know, I'm throwing the ball to you. You throw the ball to me. I'm throwing the ball back. It has to be a back and forth, a real conversation. And one of the things when I'm writing is I try to make a visual, um, like I try to see that person in my head having a conversation and smiling and laughing and, you know,
Hmm.
I try to make it real, and I try to think about how that person is and what they want. What information do they really want? And what can I help them make a decision to go with me? You know, sometimes you have to let it
Yeah.
go. Like if they're asking a lot of questions, well, tell me about you. How long have you been doing it? And it almost gets to where they're beating you up. Sometimes you have to pull back and take it away. You know what? I might not be the artist for you, and that's okay. You might not be a good candidate for this, and that's okay. You know what? Let's just get together in person. I won't even charge you. Why don't you come to my studio? My goal is to get in their face, because I know
Yeah.
if I can't book them through the written word, I know if I can get in her face, if she can come into my studio, I'm going to sell her, because she's going to be sold on me. She's going to be
Yep.
sold on the things that make me unique. Not that my work is any better than anyone else's. It's just that, you know, there's plenty of eyebrows for everyone, but not everyone is a good candidate for us. You know, I'm not the artist for everyone, but I'm looking for those people that there's a fit. And so I think I can relay that in person by just let them think you're doing them a favor. You know what? I
Yeah.
normally charge for a consultation. I won't charge you. Worst case scenario, we get to meet each other. You know, and make the
Yeah.
appointment. Every time I get a client that comes in for a consultation, it's 100% they're booking, and a lot of times they're booking the next day or 2 days from now. So I mean, I'm holding 7 appointments this week, not for after
Right.
Christmas, not after the New Year. I'm holding 7 appointments this week. I mean, they're just booking. I have this day, I have that day. You know, we could do the consultation and do it right then and there. So you have to make you have to make it real for people. You
Yeah.
have to portray who you are.
So we had a comment or a question that says, a lot of people are saying that they want to come in after the holidays. What do you tell those people, or how do you get people in before the holidays?
I guess I'm just assuming they want to get done before the holidays. And I think what we think about, we bring about. So if you're a little thinking after the holidays, I mean, some people are saying after the holidays, and I am throwing the ball back. Great, contact me after the new year, and I would love to see if I could get you on the schedule at that time. So,
Okay.
I mean, if you're offering a promotion, you know, that ends on December 31st, but they want to book in the new year, why not say, you know what? I would hate for you to miss the promotion. You can go ahead and get a gift certificate now, and then I will give it a 6 month expiration date. That way, you are in on the promotion. You've, you've paid, you've prepaid, you got the promotional price, and we do it in the new year. That's another option.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Speaking of consultations, because obviously I'm just a marketer, I don't ever actually go in with you guys on consultations. So for the people watching, what are your top tips for selling them face to face for the consultations? Do you do anything special or add anything in? Like, what are your tips?
So I actually do draw a template on their brows, and but first I introduce myself, and I take a good look at their brows. I clean their brows, um, and I look very closely. I'm in their face, and I'm bonding with them. I'm smiling. I'm developing a relationship. I'm then I actually make a template. I draw it out, and I might only do one brow and say, "What do you think of something like this?" And she says, "Yeah, that's great." And then maybe I'll do the other side, and I say, "Of course, at the time of appointment, I'll spend a lot more time putting it through graphs and taking out all my measuring tools. But this is just going to give you an overall idea of what I can do." What other questions can I answer for you? And let's talk about the procedure. It's about 2 hours. What's your schedule like? I can work. I don't work 9 to 5. I work, on a appointment basis only, so I can accommodate working schedules. So let's, and they're actually, I'm never actually asking for the booking. By the time I get to the end of the consultation, which is the tops 30 minutes,
Okay.
they're like, "Hey, when can you get me in? When can you get me in?"
Yeah.
The ones that are jumping on it. Okay, I'm sold. And I'm not even trying to sell them. I'm just trying to offer them advice, feedback, answer their questions, customize a look for them. It's not a cookie cutter.
Yeah, if I were you, I would find someone that you kind of know or like a friend, get them in for like a consultation and like do the whole thing on Facebook Live. Like I think that would like sell so many people just because they would, one, it would answer their questions, but two, it would see interaction, like how it is to interact with you, which is a big part of selling anything is the experience.
Yes, it's the experience. It's them walking into your studio, seeing what your studio looks like. I show them what a microblading tool looks like. I talk to them that they're going to get an aftercare kit. I give them like a little tour of my studio, and I show them pictures. And a lot of times they bring friends with them. I mean, I've had consultations that it was supposed to be one person, and now it's the daughter and the mother coming together. So
Nice.
and I'm booking them both.
Yeah, that's awesome. Currently, we got a good bit of people viewing, so I'm going to try to share it to the group and get us some more viewers. Cool, that looks good. So I'm trying to think of what other clients have been asking. So when you posted that video, I saw a lot of people were saying that they get leads all the time that talk about like how much and like the price and stuff. So let's go back to that conversation. We've mentioned that when someone says how much or like ask about price, you immediately ask them a question. And what else can you do? How often do you follow up? That's a big question people ask.
Okay. What I say to every client is the same. So that's probably why the chat box would work great in this situation. And basically, I say, "Hi, Jake. I offer 3 different types of techniques: shading, microblading, and a combination of the two, depending on your brow situation. Tell me, Jake, what's your brow situation like?" That's it. I copy and paste that, change the name. That's exactly what I say to every person. And it's usually enough to get them to respond. And once they respond, then it's a conversation.
I guess what do most people generally respond about? Because like in my mind, I don't know if people would want to say something bad about themselves. Do they normally just respond with more questions, or they actually talk about their brows?
No, they'll just say sparse, or
okay.
Are your brows sparse or non-existent? And they'll send back sparse, non-existent. So they send back one word answer. And then what I do is I send them a picture of a combination brow, and I say, "This is an example of a combination brow. I think that might be a great technique for you." And then boom. Or I send them a picture with someone with no brows, and I say, "This is a combination, or this is a powder brow on someone who had non-existent brows like you." And then she responds back, "Beautiful. Ooh, that looks great." And then it's a conversation.
Yeah, it's crazy to me when I look at my clients' messages. Like, this is such a visual service because it's based on how things look, that people aren't sending more pictures. You can't just keep going back and forth with words. You need to send pictures, possibly videos. People want to see what you have to offer.
They want to see your work too.
Yeah.
And they want to see someone with brows like them. Like if they're sparse, they want to see someone with sparse brows. If they have no brows, they want to see someone with no brows. What does it look like? You can't take for granted that they've gone to your website or that they've
Yeah.
gone to your Facebook fan page, because in my mind, as the professional, I'm thinking, did you look at my website? Did you look at
Right.
my fan? I'm assuming they did. They have not. So take those same pictures that you have posted in those two areas and just send them individually. This is someone with your type of brows. Are you fair complexion? Are you medium? What color is your brow? Is your skin fair? And then try to send someone with red hair or light skin or dark skin. Based on how she answers, try to send her a sample of someone like her.
Hmm. Yeah. People buy to if they're buying because they either look up to someone or want to be like that or have similarities. That's the best way to sell people. So like you said, send them similar people. That would work great. As far as
There's
go
a
ahead.
couple of things. Like I had a client that I went back and forth, a potential client that I went back and forth with. And then finally she said, yeah, I'm not interested. And I was like, okay. So instead of being negative, which my normal response
Yeah.
would be like, okay, who needs you? Um, I took a different approach and I said, that's okay. Brows are a big decision. And I'm here when you're ready. Here's my
Yes.
website. I would love to talk to you more, even if you'd like to stop by my studio and take a look at your brows. And when you're ready to make that decision, I would love to help you. And she thanked me because I was ready to dismiss her and be a little abrupt first.
Yeah.
But you have to get in their shoes. It's a big decision. Why should she go with
Hmm.
you as opposed to Jane Doe down the street? You know, and if maybe some of the feedback that I'm getting when I ask clients how they heard about me, what made them select me over the other 10 people that are doing it in this area, and one of the main feedbacks I get is your website had a lot of information, great, you have great reviews, and you have pictures. Some of the other websites just have information, no pictures,
Yep.
or just pictures, no information. And mine had a combination of reviews, pictures, and actual information, educational information. So
Yeah, and
if
that's
you,
that's a great point.
yeah, but if you can provide, if we're all different, if you can give them some meat, like why they want to pick you, we got to do it.
Yeah, it's in sales, like people they click on things based on emotion, or they're interested in things based on emotion, but then they actually buy based on logic. And so my ads get people in with emotion, but if you don't have the supporting logic to book people, then they're not going to book. And when I say supporting logic, I'm talking about like the pictures of your work, like giving them information, answering their questions. All that stuff's required, because it's not enough just to be like, oh, that looks good, and they have that spark of emotion. Well, they've already forgot about that. So now it's up to you to come in and give them the content and the logic.
And one thing I do now is I actually have instructions on how to leave a review on
Mm,
Google
yes.
and on Facebook on my fan page, because if you have an older client, they're not computer savvy like 20-year-olds, and
Yeah.
they just don't know how to do it. They want to leave you a review, but they don't know how. So I wrote it down step by step, and then before they leave their appointment, they take a picture with their phone, and then they go home
Nice.
and give me a review. So that's a plus too, because we
Yeah, I
have
like
to
that.
put
That's cool.
Yeah.
Your screen's cutting out for a second. Maybe a connection issue. But yeah, if you're watching this right now, feel free to leave a comment below or a question, excuse me. All right, Beth, it's the connection's still cutting out a second, but yeah, just to recap what she's saying, like if you make things easier for people, like show them exactly how to do a review and stuff, it'll make your life better. And reviews are important. That's why you'll see right here, I got 100+ reviews behind me, because I know how important it is to get that social proof. Because if other people see that it's working and other people see it works for others, they're more likely to try it themselves, because people are naturally skeptical. All right, we got you back. I can see you again. So I told you I wouldn't keep you too long. Do you have any tips for like beginning artists or people who maybe don't have that many reviews? Like, how did you get started as far as that goes from scratch?
I think no matter where you're beginning, whether you're experienced or whether you're new, you just have to sell yourself. It wasn't that long ago I was new. I'm only doing this 20 months. But I have 2 different studios, and you just have to be confident. Maybe you don't have experience doing 900 clients, but you've put in like 900 hours on latex. I mean, that's got to count for something. So letting people know that your character is a perfectionist, a meticulous person. You've been practicing 5 hours a day. Add it up. I put in 100 hours a week on practice. Let people know how you dedicate. You may not have the experience of faces, but if you have the experience of practice and you're dedicated, that should count for something. So don't,
exactly.
Sell them on you.
All right, so I had one more question. So I've had a lot of people, or I've seen a decrease in advertising this month, because I think people are either busy themselves or they're afraid that nobody's going to book in December. And I made a post about this recently, but what is your view on, I guess, first, advertising around Christmas? Do you still see bookings around this time?
It's like waiting for January 1st to start your diet.
Yeah, exactly.
Christmas is a day. It's a day. Okay, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, 2 days. It's 2 days. Your 9 to 5 spouse is expected to go to work. Maybe he has off 2 days during that week, but the day after Christmas, they still clock in, and so is everyone else. I think it's a mindset. I mean,
exactly.
I for that too. I mean, I thought that, and whatever you think, what you think about, you bring about. If you think people aren't booking, they're not booking. But are you open? If you're open to receiving, you're going to get it. So if you open your mindset, the rest of the corporate world is working. Maybe they're off Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but they got to be back on the 26th. So I have 7 booked this week. Not consultation. Actual microblading appointments. 7. I'm doing the UPS driver on Sunday because she's busy delivering every packages. But I'm opening myself up. Do I normally work Sunday? No, but it's Christmas. She's a UPS driver, so I'm working Sunday. So I'm being flexible, and I'm open to receiving, so I'm getting the bookings. It's in what's in your head.
Yep. And the other point to make is, like, the leads that you're not closing automatically, those are leads that you're going to book in January and February and March, like on down the road. So if at any point you stop advertising, then your sales funnel, your lead funnel is going to dry up quickly, because you got to keep a steady stream of leads coming in if you want to grow your business.
I totally agree with that, because normally when you're busy 3 months after doing ads, it's not because of what you did today, it's because of what
Yep.
you did 3 months prior. And so if you advertise and then not advertise and then advertise, it's got to be, to develop that momentum, you have to consistently do things, because once that momentum is developed and people can't get in and you could raise your prices, there's no stopping that train.
Yeah, and once you're booked up and like raising your prices and all these clients coming in, like my little fee of advertising and stuff is nothing. I get so many
No.
people who I always have to be careful with price too, because if I give people a price up front, which is what a lot of people ask, they're like, oh my gosh, $500. Like I can't that's what, one client for you?
Well, to be honest, Jake, I was on the fence for quite a few months too, because I was broke.
Yeah.
I just opened a second studio. I didn't have the money even to open that second studio. Threw everything on a credit card, and I was broke. And I knew that if I didn't do it, I would still be broke. So the bottom line, I could be broke and just, not doing anything, or I could be broke and a little bit more in debt, but have bookings.
Yeah.
There was no way out. The only way out, you're on top of the grave, you're digging. If you're, that's how desperate I was. I didn't have any bookings. My other studio, I have bookings. That's 3.5 hours away. I only go there once a month. I need bookings here in my new town. So the only way to get the word out is you got to pay for the advertisement. You got to. And I put myself in debt for it, and it's worth it. Yeah, I made it up. I made it up immediately. In fact, I made it up to keep me for a few more months. So
that's always the plan. Yeah.
It's operating expenses. It's like I have to pay rent. You should have a portion of your budget has to go to marketing. Just like a portion goes to rent, a portion goes to supplies, and a portion goes to marketing. It just has to be the right marketing. And
yep.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. People ask me, when should they advertise, and I say 12 months a year, because like you've got to keep the attention on you. Like attention is the asset, leads are the asset. You've got to keep your funnel full. So any last parting shots or advice or tips for anyone watching right now or that will watch this in the future?
I just think, really just do some type of advertising, but also make your goal be to build relationships. The bottom line is you can hit the street and you can join networking groups and all different things, but it's going to take time to build. With Facebook and the internet, what you had to do years ago, hit the street, give out your cards, you could still do that. But with the internet, what it would take you 1 year to do by hitting the streets with your feet is going to take, you could do in a week with advertising on the internet. It's all about the numbers. It's really a numbers game. So, okay, so if you talk to 5 people, 1 may book. Well, what if I talk to 500 people? What's the ratio? The ratio increases. So you won't be so upset that somebody didn't show or they didn't like your work. You won't be so upset if you have that number, if you have the numbers coming in. And the only way you're going to get those type of numbers is to do it. You got to do the advertising on the Facebook advertising on the internet. That's where I am, shopping at 2 a.m. So is everyone else.
Exactly. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I'm sure I'll stay in contact with you on email and stuff, but it was nice having this face-to-face. Thank you for all these amazing tips. I know everyone's going to appreciate it when they watch it. We've already got a lot of comments here saying thank you. So with that being said, I will I will end the broadcast in a second, but yeah, thanks again. And any last minute stuff?
Thanks, Jake. I mean, I really appreciate being here. I hope my information can help other people. I love to help someone. And if it could make someone else, be more positive and get more leads and more bookings, that would be great, because I would feel so great if I could help somebody out in that way.
That's awesome. All right. Well, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.